me get this out of the way for you guys, and let's see an awesome Eternatus deck take on this other deck. What exactly are we looking at here? That is quite interesting. We actually have a, oh, that is due to the bye. We have a 1-0 versus a 0-1. Very interesting. Usually that does not happen, but it does look like it is due to the bye. Kayla up at the top, MaliciousNerd, is playing a ADP deck, it looks like. Or no, I am sorry. She is playing a Zacian V deck that is super stall, super turbo with Altaria, so that is very interesting to see. And as you can see from our friend thallkristhall, they are playing Eternatus, so this should be quite the interesting matchup. Very evenly playing. One thing that I think our player up at the top there, MaliciousNerd, does have advantage in is the fact that she is playing Swablu and Altaria, where our buddy here at the bottom, thallkristhall, is not playing anything that can really get around that besides Yveltal. So if she kind of just goes full send on those Altarias, he might not be able to do much in that situation except for maybe Crobat V Poison. But then again, depending on how many switches or how she pulls that off, she could definitely probably take game with just an Altaria sweep. So let's see how this turns out. Definitely looks like she's going to get a knockout on this Eternatus here in the active. And he's going to have to throw some stuff away. That Avery card is an Eternatus killer. For those of you that don't know, Avery is actually a card that allows you to draw 3 cards. And then your opponent has to discard Pokemon on their bench until they only have 3. With Eternatus VMAX being a deck that's all about stacking the bench, it definitely kind of kills the damage output of that deck. So very interesting, very good tech in from MaliciousNerd here. And we see the Eternatus VMAX down. And he's debating the Crobat. All right, he's got himself some a great ball and a quick ball here. He's kind of deciding between the Eternatus VMAX and the Zigzagoon. He sees the Eternatus V on the bench. Probably wouldn't hurt to grab it, but he is going to go with the Zigzagoon probably to ping the Zacian V, just in case he can't give much of an output on Zacian V for knockout with the Eternatus in the active. So he knows he's got to throw some stuff away, so he's going to go for the Moltres V here, and that Dire Flame Wings is actually quite the card for Eternatus decks. It's really turned it around. Dire Flame Wings is an ability where you can actually accelerate an energy from your discard pile onto the Moltres V. The downside to that, however, is that you can only use one of those abilities per turn. He is pinging the Zacian V again. I definitely think he has the damage output for a knockout here on the Zacian V, so that is a knockout for the prizes. I'm getting told in the comments that my mic is kind of quiet. I will turn that up, and hopefully that fixes it. Yep, I hope that fixes it for you guys. I'm sure you'll let me know in the comments. I do apologize for that. So now our friend MaliciousNerd, she's kind of pushing forward the Zacian V, or the Zamazenta V, taking no damage from any sort of VMAXs is quite essential for a Eternatus V deck. The only downside is that Eternatus V can attack, but you do have the Moltres V to kind of get in there and do some damage. Oh, that was quite interesting. She plays Ditto V to get Zacian V back for the Intrepid Sword ability to draw 3. I've never, ever seen a player do that, so that is quite interesting. Much better. All right, thank you guys in the comments for letting me know about the mic issue. I did not know that it was pretty quiet, so thank you for that. Moltres V getting built up here so that way she can, or he can go ahead and attack that Zamazenta V for 190. The only downside to that is it is not a knockout, so he might want to try to find ways to pick up those Zigzagoons and put some extra pings on it so he can get the knockout there, because I believe it only does 170 damage. It's attack for 3, so he's going to want to try to figure that one out. Man, that is just heartbreaking to see. It doesn't look like he has much to go through here. that early game where he had to throw away a boss and then throw away yet another boss by using Professor's research, that's looking like it's going to come to bite him, as he kind of needs one to get that Zacian V knockout, but we'll see how he handles the situation. Malicious Nerd's turn, and we'll see what she can do. She isn't quite built up yet. She can't attack, but she's definitely blocking, and that stall game is everything when you have 39 cards in your deck and your opponent has 18. So she could actually win this just by deck out if she plays her cards right and if she stalls just perfectly. So she's going for the attachment there, trying to set up some pressure and let her opponent know, hey, I'm getting ready to attack you, and there's literally nothing you can do about it because you cannot touch me. It's looking like he's preparing the Moltres and going for the Marnie, kind of getting rid of everything that Intrepid Sword gave Malicious Nerd. So that stinks for her. I mean, she's not going to be able to... Hopefully she could draw into something good. I mean, the intent is with Marnie that you want to get rid of all the good stuff from your opponent's hand and put it at the bottom of their deck. Make them dig for it, make them shuffle their deck, whatever. So, quite interesting that he went that route. That is actually really good for him, as that Intrepid Sword could have given her everything. But what we know for sure... Oh, down comes the sad face. He knows. He knows that there's pretty much not anything he can really do. Because even though he can go for the attack with the Moltres V, he's... Oh, the Avery! That is absolutely devastating to an Eternatus player with a full bench. Oh no. This deck was built to defeat Eternatus. So he's discarding a bunch of Pokemon that are just easy 2-prize knockouts and the easy 1-prize knockouts. So he is hurting. He's basically got no damage output, and yeah, that's heartbreaking to see for any Eternatus player. So if you're an Eternatus fan out there, I'm sorry that you just had to see your heart break. That was an incredible Intrepid Sword. She's got her Zacian V completely built up there. I'm sure she's going to try and dig and look for an Altaria to just completely stall out the game, so that way the Moltres V can't hurt her and the Eternatus V Maxes can't hurt her. So I'm assuming that's why you put down the Yveltal V, to kind of say, hey, I kind of have an answer to what you're doing, but you might have the game here. So he is pushing his deck to the limits. He's got 8 cards left in deck, and I don't know if he can win this one. He's going to have to try to find a way. That early game throwaway of all those bosses orders really coming back to haunt him, as his opponent does have 3 prizes kind of just sitting around on the bench that he can knock out, but it is quite unfortunate. He is going for the retreat. He's going to use those Dire Flame Wings to put energy on that Moltres V. And he's Aura Burning. It is 190 damage. I do apologize. I had that wrong. It is not 170. That is actually the Zapdos that does that. It's 170. So he was able to get some damage here on that Zamazenta V, and if possible, he could switch to that Yveltal and maybe get a knockout. But it does look like she saw it. She is going to retreat and get a knockout on the Moltres V, getting rid of all of that energy. I do not see any possible way of Kristhall taking this one, which is sad to say, as you know, you wanna praise and you want to believe in your members here, but yeah, this game you kind of got to know when to hold them and know when to fold them. And this is one of those where you just kind of want to fold them. Please do excuse me as I am taking care of things over on my end to keep this tournament running clean and smoothly. Again, if you're just joining us, we are now in round 2. Round 1 is completely over, and we are now in round 2, where players are fighting for 12 points in this first phase to move on to phase 2. Those with 12 points do get to move on to phase 2, which is a best of 3 single elimination round, and those top 3 players will be our winners of the prizes. So good attack there with the derail, getting rid of that energy. But to be honest with you, with a hand that big, I'm sure she has energy that she can just attach. But The downside, unfortunately, is that Zacian V can't attack twice per turn unless you do some switching gimmick. So Zacian kind of is just a little bit of a sitting duck there until he gets built back up. The double V is quite the interesting choice here, as it'll do more damage based on how many prizes have been taken from your opponent. So quite the interesting move. Definitely a heavy hitter. She probably can see that her Zacian is going to get knocked out here soon, so she's going to take advantage of that and get something else built up. So Yveltal is now sitting pretty. Dire Flame Wings actually getting built up here. He's got the switch, and it does look like he's going to Marnie her giant hand down. So does he have a way out of this? I mean, it is quite possible. So there is the 190 damage. He is taking 2 prizes here. A Zigzagoon and a Pokemon Communications. And out comes a Lily's Pokédoll. It does seem like a very, very, very close game. She is in a great position of stall and being able to not really take any damage and being able to kind of like stall out the rest of the game with the 4 cards that she has left, or that are that Kristhall has left in deck. So she does have a way of kind of stalling out the rest of this with the Altaria and the Zamazenta V. But it does look like she's gonna go for a knockout on this Moltres with the double V and take game 1. So let's see what happens. Potion. Wow, you rarely ever see Potion in competitive Pokemon. So that is actually quite interesting. It does look like we have a couple of games that have completed. Yeah, we do have a 1-1. So Raza from the game that we had streamed before actually won his last game. So now he is sitting at 1-1. So that is fantastic to hear. Oh, Kristhall realizing, oh no, there's no way that I can win. You got it. There's the well played and 2 prizes for MaliciousNerd. So that is game 1 of their matchups, I do believe. And down comes game 2. So if MaliciousNerd can actually get the win here, she'll get a 2-0 win, no problem, and then that will be the best of 3 right there. 3 points for her to help her move along to phase 2. So that is fantastic to hear. That was a rough one, he writes. I will say, do you want to go first or second? That's the real question. He chooses to go second, which is actually quite where you want to be for an Eternatus player. You want to go second, so that way you can kind of use your Eternatus V's attack to kind of accelerate some basic. Oh wow, that is very sad to see. But you want to use that Zacian V to kind of like accelerate those dark energies onto other Zacian Vs and get yourself built up in the early game, as Zacian V Max only requires 2 energy to attack. The bright side to the updates with Chilling Rain is that new Moltres V with that ability, Dire Flame Wings, where now all you really need to do is get 1 in discard and get yourself an energy switch. So Eternatus V does have ways around. It does have new gimmicks to employ. Your deck is almost identical to the person I played in round 1. Well, let me tell you something, MaliciousNerd. I know you were probably not watching, but welcome to a competitive scene where some people play the same things. Oh yes, I would have to agree myself. Eternatus is actually a very, very, very good deck. It could be very useful in those Shadow Rider matchups where we definitely have some Shadow Rider decks here tonight, and we definitely have quite a few Eternatus decks here tonight, so that is fantastic to see, where we've got quite the button heads. Some of these decks do play Galarian Zapdos, which is great because you can go ahead and get the knockout on Zacian VMAX or Eternatus VMAX really easily. So it's going to be quite interesting to see the future games here. I had missed what she said as I was reading off the standings currently to you guys. Did she just say that she just got back into Pokemon? Rather, made this on a whim when she had some free time. Wow, it's actually quite interesting, though. I'll be honest with you. I mean, to have Zamazenta V and Altaria together is quite the power move, as you are now blocking VMAXs and Vs all in one package with Altaria, but only blocking VMAXs with the Zamazenta V. And with how the current meta is, you know, your VMAXs are definitely the most prevalent things when it comes to competitive Pokemon, so it's good to have your ways to block them. It's good to have your ways to take care of it. So it looks like she is trying to get herself built up and try to get something rolling for her. She's going with the Lily's Pokédoll, another stall tactic. Both games we have seen Lily's Pokédoll, so that is very, very interesting to see that card make quite the comeback. There was a time where it was rarely seeing play. Now it's seeing a bunch of play, and rest in peace to Lily's Pokédoll when we rotate in September. In comes the Marnie, which is really sad to see as she is getting rid of quite the hand for him. And, ooh, that is not the payout that he was hoping to see, but he does have ways around it. She misses the hammer, but, oh, the double hammer. Is she going to actually hit this one? And she does, yeah, she's getting rid of all of that energy. The one, but still, that is something. The only thing that thallkristhall can really get built up now is the Moltres V, but in all honesty, he can only get 2 energy on it this turn, so there really is not a knockout on the Zamazenta V this turn, so she's kind of taken the lead here in pressure. He is second guessing all over the place. He doesn't know if he wants to give her the Crobat or give her something else. Going with the Zigzagoon. So there goes that Dire Flame Wing ability. Again, such an incredible ability for Eternatus decks. That is something Eternatus decks have been needing, some sort of way to accelerate energy from the discard. I'm sure there's plenty of decks that want it, but with Eternatus VMAX only being 2 energy to swing for 270, it's just a welcome add to the deck. Definitely something that you can find the space for. And there's the Yveltal, which is actually quite useful for him, as Yveltal will be able to get rid of that special energy on the Zamazenta V. So if she does not have energy in hand, then she will not be able to respond with the knockout this turn or next turn. He seems to be digging for something. Got himself a Zigzagoon. Probably going to ping something that's stressing him. I would say probably the Zamazenta V just to get the extra damage on it, as it is going to be a problem later. He wants to try to get a one-hit knockout with his Moltres later, so that was probably the best move he could have made with that Zigzagoon V, or that Zigzagoon. Putting that extra damage on the Zamazenta, it's now in knockout range for that Moltres V here soon, where all he'll need to do is attach and accelerate an energy from the discard, which I believe he'll be able to do no problem. Down comes the potion again, actually taking that Zamazenta V out of knockout range. So that potion is quite handy, actually. I've never seen a potion save someone from a completely devastating attack before, so that is quite good. And he's going to go for that Crobat, getting a fresh 4 cards from the top of his deck. Hopefully stuff that can help him. Going for Quick Ball. He's getting the extra Zigzagoon. There we go. But even at that point, it's unfortunate. He'll still be off by 10 damage. Zamazenta V has 230. He's only swinging 190, so she will be alive with only 10 HP. Very unfortunate, and she'll be able to respond. Not getting a knockout on the Moltres V, but imagine the devastation on MaliciousNerd's face when he had deleted her Zamazenta V, her only staller at the moment, and all the energy that was attached to it without another attacker in the backup or on the bench, backed up, ready to go. So that potion really came in handy. That was actually quite the clutch move, I will say. I've never seen it before where someone was actually playing potion to get themselves out of trouble. That was very interesting. It's usually a move that you see in theme decks, but MaliciousNerd has seemed to figure out how to utilize that card in a very competitive format. So all right, so she went for some damage on the Crobat V here, but it seems that it's not going to be much of an issue. Oh, that was smart. That was quite smart. He did go for the he's going for the venomous poison attack, getting the knockout, leaving Crobat V in the active because he knows that he can get the knockout with it. Get the 2 prizes, so that way if the Crobat V gets knocked out, he can just bring up the Moltres V, swing 190, or get a Eternatus V built up and kind of get a knockout on that Zacian on the bench. So that's actually very, very good move. Let me see currently where we are sitting, ladies and gentlemen. We are currently 5 out of the 7 matches done. This is one of those 2 matches that are still open, so this is the game to watch. Well, I'm going to have to let our buddy down at the bottom that maybe don't have notifications on for this kind of thing, because now we all know now that Chris Turner posted a photo in the group, but that Princess loves him, so I hope that's some good luck for you there. Let Princess Love give you the luck that you need for your top decks to be perfect for the win here. He does find a way to get a Eternatus V completely built up using that Moltres and a energy switch, so that is why you definitely like playing Moltres in an Eternatus deck with the energy switches, because being able to accelerate from the discard and giving yourself the energy you need very aggressively building Eternatus in a way that has not been played until Chilling Reign released. For those of you new joining the stream, we are actually running a tournament that was open for the people in our group for sorry about that. For those of you joining our stream, we are running a tournament for the people in our group who joined the Limitless and the Discord tournament, and we have an awesome sponsor that you can see down there in the right corner, Keebs. Keebs actually has provided us a couple prizes for our top 3 placement 1, getting a Shining Fates ETB, a Chilling Reign ETB for 2nd, and a Battle Styles ETB for 3rd. This was a free tournament to join. We have 14 players. Unfortunately, we did have a player drop, so that is quite unfortunate. So we have 13 players, but nonetheless, it's still quite the tournament to be viewing right now. So those of you who are watching, I hope this interests you to kind of join the next one. It's literally players from all sorts of different play styles, all sorts of different levels of play, battling it out in this awesome tournament for these amazing prizes provided to us by Keebs. So it seems like Kristhall is kind of deciding, should I boss here, should I not? And he decides to go for it and play some stall. He knows that double could cause him issues a little bit later, and doesn't want to take that chance. So he's going to actually go for the Dread End attack here and get a knockout on this Zacian V for 2 prizes. if Kristhall wins this game, he will actually this round will actually go to 3 games. But if Malicious wins it, it will only be a 2-game round. So there she goes again. She's actually building up her stall tactics here with Altaria and Zamazenta V. Going with the Crushing Hammer. Crushing Hammer being pretty prevalent as you can utilize it to get rid of energy on your opponent's Pokemon. The bright side there is, or the downside there is, yes, Moltres V can get the energy back, but if you take it away from an Eternatus, you're going to need that energy switch to kind of figure it all out. Looking like a very close game. And down comes the Intrepid Sword. And yep, he sees the win condition. He is actually going for it right away. And it looks like Kristhall is taking game 2. And they are going to be going off to a game 3. Give me a second while I get some stuff set up over here. Kind of juggling some stuff. I'll have to notify Chris that his notifications are kind of popping up in the stream. So MaliciousNerd is going to choose to either go first or second here. For a deck like hers, I would assume that you would want to go second, considering the matchup is with Eternatus. So there she is. She says she wants to go second, which is just the right move. These players have 16 minutes to complete this 3rd game. I'm now getting messages that my mic is now too loud. So let me go ahead and fix that. And we'll see if that does it a little bit better. I do apologize for any sort of, you know, technical difficulties like that. Out comes Aegis/V. We have not seen this card yet, so that's actually quite interesting. Aegis/V does have an attack that gets through certain cards like Zamazenta and Altaria, Decidueye, any sort of VV max blocker. So quite the good pick there on her end to have that in her deck, just in case she runs into some sort of stall deck much like her own. So it looks like Kristhall is trying to figure out exactly what he wants to do here. He's just going to pass his turn and let it go off to her. He's got himself built up pretty well here. He's got the board presence he kind of wants, and getting himself ready for his second turn where he can start attacking and using supporters. So MaliciousNerd is taking her time just a little bit, trying to figure out, well, what's the best route here? He's got 2 Eternatus V's on the field, a Zigzagoon and a Crobat. What are the odds that he has this, that, or the other? And she's trying to figure that all out right now. She's playing the Lily's Pokédoll, which is a fantastic choice if she can switch into it. Kind of give her some wiggle room to get things built. This kind of matchup is very interesting because you kind of have to figure out which way do you want to lean, you know, which way do I want to do this? Do I want to play just full stall? Do I want to go on a complete aggressive mode and just play my Zacian Vs? So she's got quite the deck here that can maneuver in a very flexible way that a lot of other decks can't. So she has a very interesting deck here that I think will, if she is able to stream some of her games into the Discord, we will pop up from her perspective into the stream. Going for that Crobat V here. Very smart choice with the quick ball. You don't want to use a supporter too early, as you don't know if you can get exactly what you need. Oh my goodness, he's actually got the Zigzagoon down, putting the ping. If he can get some more Pokemon, he might be able to get the knockout here. He's putting down the Eternatus V. There we go. If he can get 2 more, he's definitely got the knockout, but I believe he's got the knockout here. hit her with the Marnie, reset our hand, so that way if he knocks her out, he could see himself in a better position. And what is he grabbing now? He's grabbing the Moltres. Very good choice here, just in case he starts throwing some stuff away. Putting it down. It looks like he's got the knockout on this Aegislash. Professor's Research and the Quick Ball. There we go. And there's the Avery. Oh no, Eternatus players, I'm sorry you had to see it. But the bright side is that he does have that Moltres V in order to counter that Zamazenta V, so that is great. Great for him. Give me 1 second as I message our judge. All right, I am back. Had to message our judge to get something out to our players, as I'm using Discord to stream this to you guys. He is using Discord to disseminate information as needed. Thank you again, Barry, for becoming a judge for our tournaments here. We all appreciate it. You are doing God's work. So he's going for another Moltres here. He sees the situation that he's in. The Zamazenta V is going to be an issue for his Eternatus V maxes, so he knows that he needs to start doing something to damage that Zacian, or that Zamazenta V. So these little Firebirds here, these Dark Firebirds, these guys are going to be the kings of it all. So they're going to be the difference between a win and a loss. So I think the question he's kind of like debating in his head now is, do I knock out the Pokédoll? Do I not? What do I do? I think, ooh, that is quite the choice there, the Liepard. Liepard is going to be able to get rid of one of Malicious's special energy from the active, I believe it is, with that ability. I think that's what it does. So quite good for him, as he can start setting her back a little bit where she's starting to progress. Ooh, there comes the Crushing Hammer. It's a Tails. So that kind of saves him. Boss's orders ain't nothing but a thing. He's going... I would say that he was going to go for the Yveltal, so that way if he can swing for 190, he can use Derail for 30 and get the knockout on this Yveltal, so long as he gets a Zigzagoon ping. But I believe he's out of Zigzagoon, so he might need to figure this out. But he is going for the Yveltal just to get rid of that energy on the Zamazenta and get it into range for a knockout. But if you were watching the stream, go ahead and tell me in the comments, what deck would you love to see, and what deck, if you were to play, would you bring to the tournament? I want to hear you guys' answers on what you think, you know, some great decks are and what you would bring, and tell me your perspective on things. That Marnie is absolutely devastating to our Eternatus player here. She's getting herself set up. Here comes a hammer. If it's heads, that's going to hurt pretty bad. It is heads. Now, it is kind of a...
Hold on, buddy.
A catch-22, because, yeah, you're getting rid of it from the Yveltal. If I can just find another energy, I could just attach the Yveltal since he attacks for 1. But that energy in the discard can now just be attached to my Moltres, so you're actually helping instead of, like, hindering as much as you think you are. Direflame Wings, here it comes. So he is going to take that energy. And he's looking over something. He's like, oh, man, I'm looking over this win-loss thing. Got to see how much time is left. They've got 8 minutes in the round. He's going to go for the retreat. And that is a little bit sad to see with that hand. But, you know, it's not the worst thing in the world for him. So I'm assuming he's going to go for the attack here with Aura Burn. There it is, the 190, exactly what he kind of needs in this situation when he can't use his Eternatus VMAXs. So getting rid of this, oh no! Not another Avery, wow. I almost bought the most badass deck ever, Dreadnought theme deck. I didn't want to show everyone up this time. That is our sponsor right there for you, ladies and gentlemen. He knows better than anybody that Dreadnought is the king of the TCG. Alright, so it does look like that he is in a better position. I mean, he does lose his damage output with Eternatus VMAX, which is a little upsetting. But he does have an out to the Zamazenta V. He has an out to the Zacian a little bit later if he can build himself back up. But I do believe that if he can't get himself built up, he might be in a little bit of trouble here. Eternatus gang, says Matthew. Absolutely. Eternatus is a fantastic deck. As you've seen recently with this game, I mean, it is just a deck to be feared with that Moltres V combo with the energy switch. So, quite the deck. Oh, wow. Not a bad top deck there. But let's see what he can get. He's going for a quick ball.
I don't know if I came in here yet to say. We're going to let the timer run down.
He's trying to figure this out here. He's like, okay, the active is built, but nothing else is. What can I do?
Use restroom,
what
stretch
can
your legs,
I do?
whatever you need to do. Just
I would say just go on the offensive, my friend. There is the Zigzagoon. There it goes down on the bench. Does it go on the bench? He's debating. There it is. Yeah, he's going to ping a Pokemon. Going for the Zamazenta there. I believe I see what he is trying to do.
Time. We're going to let the timer run out on this round.
Yes, he is going to retreat and then use those Dire Flame Wings ability to get that energy back. Oh, he doesn't do it though. Oh, that is
for round 3. Thank you very much.
Interesting to see. I don't know why he wouldn't have done it. I mean, next turn he would have had 3 for just in case, but that is okay. We play to learn and we learn to play. So here we go. She is now trying to figure out, ooh, who do I promote here? Do I promote? And she's promoting a 1-prizer. She knows he has 2 prizes left, so promoting a 1-prizer isn't the worst decision. The best part about Yveltal is that he does have that free retreat. And down comes the Berserker. Now, this isn't the Berserker that actually boosts the Metal Pokemon's attack by 20. This is a different Berserker with, I believe it's Steely Claws. Does 20, and then I am not 100% sure what the effect does. But she looks like she is debating something. Maybe her odds of winning. Here comes the boss's orders. Is she actually going to get a knockout here on the Moltres? No, she's actually going for the Zigzagoon. Interesting choice, interesting choice. Only 20 damage. She's flipping 2 coins. I am not sure what that Berserker does. I can get that information for you though. I like to think I know what most Pokemon do, but our awesome players in this group are bringing cards that I'm not quite familiar with. That is the Berserker from Vivid Voltage. That is flip 3 coins. If any of them are heads, your opponent reveals their hand, and then for each heads, you discard a trainer card from your opponent's hand. Wow. So that would have been devastating if she hit any of those heads, as our opponent's trainers are quite useful. That is a card. That is quite the card. So our friend here is trying to figure out what exactly he needs to do in order to win this matchup. And he's going to go ahead and retreat, bringing out the Eternatus VMAX and plopping down the Zigzagoon. And he's going to... Where is he going to put that 10 damage? Right on the double. Our players have 3 minutes to finish this match, or we're going to go into some sort of OT here. And here comes the boss's orders. Okay, here we go. Dread Zone for 150. If she has no way to heal or get him out of there, I think our buddy thallkristhall has got the game. And here comes 60, but I do believe that's not going to be enough. I think that that double is good as gone. And there it is, ladies and gentlemen. thallkristhall has the game. He is now 2-0 in the tournament with 6 points. So that is a fantastic game to see. Ladies and gentlemen, from there, we're actually going to take a small break. We're giving our players the last 3 minutes of the round to take a break, use a